So when you first started, you created a lot of content. Would you say before you had your agency, you were like a content creator for other people?
In a nutshell, I was a social media manager. And so this is before content creators were a thing.
Right.
Because this new term as being a content creator, when you think about it, is fairly new.
Yeah, it started during the pandemic when nobody else had shit to do.
Literally.
But create content.
Exactly.
But make money multiple ways. I make money from the creative agency side with Sapientia marketing. And I've also made influencer marketing money.
Oh, hello.
Brand strategy and development. I sit down with the client. It's usually a 2-hour session where we carve out the foundation and the basics, because before we can create content, before we can do the photo shoot and do all of those things, we have to figure out, okay, who are you and where are we going?
Showtime.
It's showtime.
Guys, we have nobody behind the camera.
Oh, God. Back to square one. So this is the producer and the camera girl.
Oh, hello, guys.
Right? And on this week's episode of Millennial Money Matters, we have Jabria Blackman going to be talking about content creation and how you can monetize it. But first, it's your girl, Nichollette White, local South Florida realtor here. And we have my co-hosts. Be awesome.
Mike Molina, NMLS 1857587. The team lead for Mike Molina team and Highlands Residential Mortgage. And this is another episode of
Millennial Money Matters.
Machine Gun or Money Gun. Oh, our Money Gun got jammed. It jammed. So Jabria is our producer behind the camera. She's the one that got us very, very professional from episode 1, because it was up to Nikki and I.
Little child, ghetto.
The ghetto.
So Jabria has been doing content creation for quite some time now, and
Yes.
we want to ask the same question we ask to every guest that we bring on, and that is, who is Jabria Blackman?
Awesome. First of all, I just want to say thank you guys for allowing me to be on the show.
Of course.
It's so weird. Childish. So childish. It's so weird because I'm rarely in front of the camera, so this feels very weird, guys, truthfully. But yes, so my name is Jabria Blackman. I am a brand strategist, brand storyteller, creative director, content creator, all in one. Yeah, that's me.
So how did you get into brand strategy and being a creative director? What led you to that? What were you doing before?
Okay, so it's crazy. I've always been a content creator. We talked about this before content creation was actually a thing. And so I started really doing like graphic design. This was when Instagram had kind of just first started and Twitter was mainly a thing, you know, before Instagram was Reels, which was a long time ago, but
when Instagram was only for iPhone users.
Yeah, and photos. So
and people only posted photos, exactly.
Literally, you know, it was about aesthetic, which it still is, but I primarily just made graphics on this software. It's crazy. I can't remember the name of it. But I was just doing that, just being creative, not thinking anything of it. And so shout out to my dad. My dad has been in the marketing field forever.
You mentioned he's in the marketing field. What did he do?
So that's the thing.
Because I can imagine he was more old school marketing.
Yeah. So it's crazy. I can't even explain it. My dad, he does a lot of things. He does insurance. And I think he just gained a lot of knowledge about marketing. Really, he used to watch webinars and all types of stuff. He would pour into me about it, literally. And so that's kind of how, he just started dropping those little bitty nuggets and stuff like that. But literally, he just started giving me software to play with. He's like, oh, okay, create my graphics or create this and create that. So I just started doing it. And then all of a sudden, he just started talking about branding. So to answer your question, I don't know what my dad did with marketing. He just had he
had a creative mind.
Exactly. He instilled so much knowledge into me. Shout out to him. And I think it just got to a point where I just started going out on my own and just wanting more. Wanting more than what he was teaching me. Wanting more than just the basics. And so when Instagram started, I just got hooked to it. I was like, what is this thing? I had an Android at the time, so you already know how that goes.
So how were you using Instagram? It wasn't like the initial stages. It was once they merged.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you remember? I think I probably had like a. Did I have an iPad? I don't know how I was getting on Instagram at the time, but I had an Android. So eventually, when I got an iPhone, I was able to get on and just started uploading pictures. I'll probably fast forward years down the line. After I graduated high school, by the time I got to college, I majored in digital media studies, right? And so at the time, that was like a new major at FIU. And so what that was just literally understanding what digital media was, understanding branding, understanding those things. And so I kind of had to just find my own way. Because when you think about it, unlike having a profession like being like a doctor or a lawyer, with communications and marketing, you literally have to pick a lane and find it. Like, I'm not going to school for just one particular thing. I ended up getting my degree from FIU, Digital Media Studies, Bachelor of Science in Communications. And so I was just, at that point, I was graduating college. You already know how that goes. It's kind of like you're figuring out, okay, what am I going to do next? Because now, like, I don't have a set job. I don't have job offers just coming in. Like, unlike other professions, like, my homegirl, she was studying to be a nurse. So of course, she applies for a position, she gets it. For me, it was like, okay, oh goodness, what do I do next?
So what was like your first project that you did, or paid project that you did utilizing your degree, or just in digital media marketing?
Good question. So I started off being a social media manager because I felt like that was like the easiest thing to do. I was a social media manager for my aunt. At the time, she owns a notary business to this day still. And so I just started creating her content. So I would do graphics, create little videos. Of course, this was before Reels. So I would create these videos on Canva. So this is when Canva first became a thing. So I would just when I tell you my mind is so creative, I just would make nothing into something. So as a notary, of course, she deals with realtors. She works with title companies, yeah. And so she's working with those type of people. So I'm literally finding pictures of realtors, title companies, people that want weddings, and I'm just throwing it together to create some type of video content for her. And so after that, I started working at this sales and marketing firm. It's funny, that's actually where I met Nichollette. And so that was just primarily sales. I was selling security software. So yeah, not anything dealing with content creation at all, but it laid the foundation though for me doing sales, even just with my creative agency. So fast forward, I quit the job and I'm like, okay, I just want to be creative. Like, I don't want to do any of this sales stuff. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I just want to get in front of my computer. I want to create. This is before I started doing this is before I became a videographer, before any of that. So I started my first agency, which is called Sapientia Marketing. I still have it to this day, but as I go along my story, you'll hear that I have now pivoted into just a different business. But I started Sapientia Marketing just working with brands. And so this was anybody that I could find. So like I mentioned, I was working with a notary. I was working with, at the time, a clothing line. I had even started working with this blog at one point, just creating content for them, for their social media channels. So photos, pictures, videos.
How hard is it to get people, because you're creating content. I had a social media manager too, and I think it's just very difficult if you don't pick a specific day to be focused on content, you as the business owner, for your social media manager to be able to do their job correctly. How hard is it to do that and to get these business owners to say, hey, I asked you to send me a video or something like that? Because at some point you can only go so far when you're just doing flyers or written content, as opposed to, and we see it now, right? Videos, reels, or even just pictures.
Definitely very hard, because it's funny, as I got started, it was right before, I think it was the pandemic, when I really decided to go full time into Sapientia. And it was the hardest thing ever to get them to understand, hey, we're shutting down. And if you guys don't get on social media, if you guys don't pivot to actually becoming content creators, you're going to lose business. So of course, push back until it got to the point where we did shut down. I think a lot of businesses don't want to spend money on marketing. If I can sum it up in a nutshell, I think that's it. They don't want to spend money on marketing, not because they hate it because they don't really understand like the value of it and what it can bring. You know, they say that what you're supposed to spend 50% of your actual revenue on marketing, and it's true, because how do you actually get in front of consumers? How do you actually bring traffic into your business? Granted, word of mouth is great. We still use it to this day. Like, I still have people coming to me based off of other clients that I've worked with. However, though, a lot of my clients have come from social media. So to answer your question, it's truly a challenge, just trying to get clients to understand that, hey, this is something that you need. But again, it depends on your service offering. It depends on your product, what you're actually offering.
So when you first started, you created a lot of content. Would you say before you had your agency, you were like a content creator for other people?
Yeah. So in a nutshell, I was a social media manager. And so this is before content creators were a thing,
right?
Because this new term as being a content creator, when you think about it, is fairly new.
Yeah, it started during the pandemic when nobody else had shit to do.
Literally.
But create content.
Exactly.
But create content, and it's funny because the word content has always been a word,
right?
You know, content can be the text that's in a magazine. It can be the text that's on the website. You know, granted they call that copy, whatever. That's just a little technical note, but. I mean, yeah, like before it was actually called content creation, I was just doing that. So pivoting back to the pandemic, once the pandemic started, something clicked in my mind like, oh snap, like I have to really start pushing on social media, saying, hey, that I actually do this. I didn't say I was a content creator because again, that still wasn't a thing, but I just started saying, hey, like, do you need content for your business? You know, do you need video content? Do you need photos? I think. So two of my first client, I think as an actual, like during the pandemic, my first client was, I believe, a politician in Miami Gardens. She was a politician in Miami Gardens.
What's her name?
Patricia Wright.
Okay.
And so she was running for a councilwoman seat. Yes. And so it's funny because she came to me like a month out of the election, and I was like, I don't know what magic you want me to work. However, I really, at that point, that was my first lesson, like as a business owner and just owning an agency, like knowing that, okay, like the rollout plan has to be way before. Like we cannot try to make something work a month out.
But a lot of people think like that they may have a specific deadline, maybe not as politicians specifically, but a lot of people don't like to invest in marketing. I don't invest in marketing as much now as I did before, but I will be the first person to tell anybody to invest in marketing as the first thing. I've always said it, the first person I hired, even when I wasn't closing any deals, was a social media manager. It was to keep that presence on social media consistent for me, and she did help me kind of get into those videos, and during the pandemic that's pretty much all I did. But I always tell people that, you know, marketing is very, very important to be able to do and to do. And you can't think that you're going to get your return on investment in a month. You just can't. That, you know, when it comes to marketing, it takes months, it takes years of really consistently doing it. But you end up blowing up because of it. You know, you think of the major brands that they spend a lot of money on marketing, and you know about them. You know, everybody knows about specific brands that are consistently out there spending marketing dollars to be in front of people's faces. And so because they can't quantify, or small businesses can't quantify what I spent $500, I should get $2,000 back because I spent $500. And it's like, when it comes to marketing, that's not how it works. You're probably going to spend $500 in 20 months, which is going to be $10,000, and then you're going to see $50,000 come in. That's really how marketing kind of works.
Literally, I always tell Nichollette, because of course I work with her, and it's funny because we'll talk about her story in a little bit, but you know, I always tell her and all of my other clients that marketing is really testing. Like you really, of course you have a plan, you have a strategy up front, but you really have to test it out to see, okay, is this resonating with my audience? You know, does this apply to them? Because if not, then you got to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, let's do something else. You know, but that's why it's so important. With any client, before I work with any client, it's okay, let's get the brand strategy in order. Let's figure out, one, who are you? One, if we're now working with your personal brand, but if it's your business, we need to figure out, do you offer a product or service? That's the biggest thing. I kid you not. I talk to people all the time, and they don't know whether they offer a product or service.
That's crazy.
And it can, although it sounds simple, for a lot of people it's not. because people are saying, no, I offer a service. No, you don't. You offer a product. So when you're offering a product, you have to market that differently than when you're offering a service. But yeah. So.
Okay.
I think, you know, I'm going to kind of reiterate what I said, because I think that there's a lot of people that need to put or invest money in maybe not so much buying leads if you're a realtor, or maybe not so much as, you know, trying to do some sort of Facebook marketing that you don't understand, and spending, you know, $20 a day or $10 a day as an entrepreneur to promote your product or your service. If you are not on YouTube University, and you're really not good at creating content, but you may be good at being able to sell the product or the service that you do, you need to be able to really, you know, they always say to pay people what you're not good at.
Yeah.
I think marketing is something that's completely underrated, that people really need to start putting their money into.
I agree, because you see.
My sweatshirt.
Oh yeah. That would have been very appropriate. So
What is this sweatshirt?
Oh gosh, now I feel crazy. Don't creatives don't work for free. It's something like that.
So I got her this sweatshirt for Christmas. Actually, it's one of my old college friends. His line. It's creatives don't work for free, or pay creatives. Stop asking creatives to work for free.
There you go. Stop asking creatives to work for free.
It's a fact.
My sweatshirt, because you're right on point.
It's a fact.
So you really started to kick off your business during the pandemic. First off, I actually want to ask, did the politician, did she get elected?
So she won the first round, but then the second round, she didn't. But I was even happy for that. Like it's crazy. I was even happy to see the type of content that I produce, like on the spot. It's crazy, because I think that has built my tenacity just to be able to create on the spot, on the go, within 8 hours, less than that. So yeah. She did win.
Speaking of not asking creators to create for free, what type of content do you create, or better yet, how do you make money? What product or service do you actually offer with your, I know you mentioned Sapientia, what do you offer?
Yes, so I make money, it's funny, I make money multiple ways. I make money from the creative agency side with Sapientia marketing, and I've also made influencer marketing money.
Hello.
Yes, for my own stuff, and then I've made just like I guess it's a part of the agency too, but how I say, when I have to really do the work, then it's not really agency work, it's my work, but it all in the same is. So as a creative agency, one of the many services that we offer, like I say, to start with brand strategy and development, right?
And what is that?
So what that is really figuring out whether it's a business or an individual, you know, who you are, what is your identity, right? What is it that sets you apart in the market? When you think about certain brands that we know, a lot of popular brands like Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Coke, you know, when you think about those brands, when you see them, right, what is it that you see? What is it that you feel? What is it that you hear? You know, when you think about those senses. And so it's funny, I thought about today, when I think about Chick-fil-A, I think about efficiency. I think about exceptional customer service. I think about, if we talk about their logo,
good chicken nuggets.
The food is good, but it's a little addicting, guys. We have to check what's in that food. I think about their logo, right? When you see that little deformed chicken, you know that that's Chick-fil-A. And so all of those things encompass the brand. And so with brand strategy and development, I go back to what I was saying earlier. I sit down with the client. It's usually a 2-hour session. It doesn't have to be 2 hours straight back and forth, but at least 2 sessions where we carve out the foundation and the basics. Because before we can create content, before we can do the photo shoot and do all of those things, we have to figure out, okay, who are you and where are we going? Because if not, we're just snapping these photos and pressing record on this video camera, and
there's no direction.
Exactly. Like now you're not resonating with your audience because you're talking about nothing. And it's crazy because I've had clients come to me and they say, you know, I've worked with videographers before, or I've worked with a photographer, and I just didn't get the outcome that I wanted. And I say, yeah, because their videographers are there to shoot. Some of them have, you know, they understand marketing a little better, but some of them, they need direction. The same with photographers. So this is why it's so important. So in that session, we go over who you are, right? What do you offer? Like I mentioned, whether it's a product or service, We go over, who is your target audience, right? But not just on a surface level. We dive very deep. So, for example, I can say that my target audience is realtors, right? At one point, I was working with lots and lots of realtors. But that's on the surface, right? Am I working with realtors that are just listing agents? Am I working with realtors that are buyer's agents? That's important because how I market to them is going to be different. The content that I create for them is going to be different. So that's what I mean. It's even for real estate agents, right? I pivot to the field that you all are in, right? A lot of my clients, what I tell them is, okay, you're marketing to buyers and sellers, right? But for example, if you're marketing to buyers, what type of buyers? What profession are they in? Where do they live? What do they care about? Those things matter. The demographics and the psychographics of, who your target audience is very important. Because when you dive into those things, now you're able to really resonate because now you're getting to the core of who they are. And so I go over all of that because when I tell you a light bulb goes off when I'm talking to my clients, it just goes off. It's like, oh my God, I didn't think about it like this. And I'm like, I know you did.
I feel like a lot of people just hop into it and feel like they can just do the latest trend and that's okay. Where you have, and I mean, it depends too, because you have some realtors, that's my field, so that's what I'm gonna talk about, where, they'll do like the trendy reels, where they'll get a trending sound, and because I tried it, they'll do the trending sound and you're like kind of role like acting to the sound, but then you have like information, and that works for a lot of people. Or you have realtors that come on and they're talking, but as far as content creation, is there really a real blueprint to follow? Or
especially right now, like what is the current, like I guess blueprint in general, you want to be brand specific, right? You want to make sure that you're on brand all the time. Is there something that
works more
people in specific fields would want to kind of focus on?
So I'll say
Thank you, Mike.
I'll say this. I think across the board, so I'll generalize it and then I'll try to dive into specific fields. So from a general perspective, video content is king right now. Yeah. And so everyone should be doing video, right? What makes it different per profession or brand is your actual strategy. Because remember, I'm going back to target audience, which is so important because remember, what I'm saying on video, on camera, what I'm putting on my graphics, that deals with messaging. So to understand what message you're going to put out, you have to understand your target audience and what they care about, right? So that's why it's hard to say, is there a blueprint to content? I think it's weird. I think if there's a blueprint, a part of that should be consistency, right? Okay. Making sure that you're consistent because it's crazy. As a creative, I don't put out as much content as I should because I feel like I'm always behind the camera, always editing other people's stuff. But if I could tell myself advice, it would be consistency. You need to be consistent because what's going to happen is, when you first put something out, people are not going to always just automatically flock to it. And even if they do, you have to have something to follow up behind it because after a while, people are going to just say, okay, well, what's coming next? So I would say consistency. I would say understanding exactly what your messaging is for sure, like I mentioned before. Because again, before you create the content, you have to understand who you're talking to and what you're actually going to say. But now let's say if I would make it specific, and I'll use real estate because I think we all just kind of understand that field here, right? So with a lot of my clients, I tell them, look, for real estate, you want to make sure that you have a few different types of pieces of content. One, you want to have video content, right? You want to be out showing homes. You want to be in these homes, whether it's new construction, whether these are actual listings that are on the market. You want to be in these homes, showing these homes, walking through. People need to see that you're actually working, right? So you want to do video content, and then you also need, of course, those graphics. So, of course, just listed, now sold, on the market.
But that shouldn't be your whole profile because I see people literally only posting those.
No. Shouldn't be. But you also need thought leadership content, which is so important. So thought leadership and brand storytelling, I kind of mix into one playing field because what that type of content does, it allows your audience to really get to know who you are. Because of course they may get to know you on a personal level, you know, what you care about. Because side note, those are also things that people care about. Those are also things that help you resonate with people. Like the things that you care about, whether it's your lifestyle, whether it's your family, whether it's, you know, whether it's that you have a dog, whether it's you like to go to the movies on the weekend, you like to go out to eat at this particular restaurant, that type of content resonates with people because they're like, oh, this girl is fly, or this guy, he know what he's talking about. Because, you know, these are things that your audience cares about. You also want to have homes on your page. So, meaning whether it's homes from the MLS. So I always tell all of us say clients, make sure that you don't have these ugly little homes that are from the MLS. Make sure that you have stuff that people actually want to go and buy and see. Because why would they want to see a home where it's stuff all over the place? And although it has nothing to do with you, that's more so the realtor that's posting it.
It was taken with something like this.
Literally the words.
Yeah.
And it's a reflection of you too. It shows that you don't really care.
Exactly. And that's not the type of stuff that you want. So literally, like, there are tons of pages on Instagram with nice homes. Like, even if you don't want to use photos from the MLS, like you just want to do like a home of the day or like a spotlight, just get one of those homes, you know. And usually on those like home pages, it'll say like who the listing agent is. So you can just put that in the caption, you know. But you again, going back to branding, you want to push out content that represents who you are and what your brand is. Now, if those ugly little homes represent your brand, then that's on you.
Hello.
But you want to be able to push out content that resonates with who you are.
Are followers still a thing?
Yes and no. So,
because like there's some people that they'll post. Well, there's some people that it doesn't make sense. The engagement, because I always hear engagement, and I realize that that's so important because I speak for myself. I have a decent amount of followers. I don't have tens of thousands, but I have enough, you know, for where I am. I want more though, but I want real followers. But I noticed that even with the amount of followers that I have, the engagement is always there. And so it's like, this is what you're talking about, where I have people engaging with my posts, you know, where there are some people, they have hundreds of thousands and there's no engagement. And so I asked if followers matter because I'm like, is that a psyche thing? Like we see a lot of followers and we use this to validate people. Will this help you get brands, like brand deals? If you are a content creator, which everyone under the sun now is a content creator, you know, like, could you demyth that or debunk that myth? Yeah, so I'll debunk it. Followers, it's so weird. Because you said you got a brand deal. How much followers you got, girl? So to your point, right? So, okay, in my world, followers don't matter. Only because I've been able to get like brand partnerships and influencer deals just off of I have like 1,000 followers, but the amount of clients that I've gotten off of those 1,000 followers has been just tremendous, you know? So I don't think that they matter. I think what really matters is the community that you're building, because within those 1,000 followers, you can have a tribe that ride and dies for you and that will buy from you over and over and over again. I think that consistency is what builds those followers. There are people that have stayed at 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 followers for years until one day something just spiked and they went to 20,000, 50,000, 100K.
They had that one video
that went viral. One video. And you know, it's crazy because sometimes it's weird. Like I don't always attribute it to just marketing. I think it's really just timing. Like, you know, I'm a big believer in divine timing, and I think that, you know, with that, there are just certain times when it's your time to really just excel to the next level. But what will differentiate you from everyone else is your consistency, literally. Because it's just like when people, like music artists, when they blow up, right? Like a lot of people, they stay under for so long. You know, they have their small fan base and then one day they just pop. So I think that we need to move from that perspective that followers are a thing. Like I even think about YouTube, right? I'm always just a student, of course, just watching certain things on YouTube. And of course, with YouTube, it's about the subscribers, like how many people are watching your videos. But I think with YouTube, the most important thing that you should be focused on is how can I create like better videos? And how can I create better content? Because as you learn to create better content, those views will go up. Yeah. But if you're focused on your followers, if you're, hiding your likes on your posts, and it's okay, we've all done it. We've all hit our likes. But even that action to hide our likes on Instagram, why are we doing that?
Facts.
For what? Like, what validation are we seeking from other people who
are
not even doing a damn thing? They're not even doing anything, but we're hiding our lives.
Because there's a lot of people that are on social media that are pretending they're doing the thing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that they may have a lot of followers. I think Nikki and I are probably a great example of followers don't matter. Because I have about 2,500, but my engagement range on every single post may be anywhere between 5 to 10%. And so if you have people that may have 10,000 followers and their engagement is 1%. So we're pretty much around the same engagement. Doesn't matter where our followers are, because it's about who's looking at your stuff.
Literally, like, I've had people. It's crazy. I've had people reach out to me. When they're not following you, and it goes to like that general message. Like, and literally people in there saying, "Hey, like, I'm on your page and I love your content. How can I work with you?" And or I've seen your business page. How can I work with you? Mind you, like I told you, I have about like 1,300 followers. And that's on me because I don't proactively post my own content. I have tons of stuff. Don't be like me, y'all. Please get on a plan, stick to it, come work with me. I'll help you figure out your blueprint, right? But for me, because that's my like Achilles heel, but I guarantee if I was to like go hard, it would just explode. And it's crazy because it's already exploded, but it's been a slow been a slow burn. Like, but I've been able to, at this point, I feel like I do feel like I have a lot of skin in the game. Like,
I definitely would agree. I have seen your work firsthand evolve. I always tell her, I'm like, there are videographers, there are content creators that literally they buy all this equipment, they do all this stuff, and when I tell you, a lot of the videos that Jabria has done for me have been off of the iPhone. And this literally to the point where we were somewhere and somebody, there was another videographer, and they were like, you working off an iPhone? They had like their little thing, little thing like this. They doing all this, and she's just like, working off an iPhone. And when I saw their video versus the footage that we got, I was like, damn, you had an iPhone? Because you sure went no iPhone in that, because our stuff was fire, and down to someone even mentioned her follower count. They were saying, based off of the work that you do, I thought you would have had more followers. And that's why I was like, damn, does followers really sit in people's spirit like that?
And I kind of want to jump on that too, because what my question would be, right? How do you push your business, your brand, when a lot of people think followers is the way to go? And so they'll look at Jabria's pitching me, she sounds great, but doesn't look like she's doing this on her page. Right. So how do you sell yourself at that point?
So I think it really stems from just the work that you do. Like, literally, it's in my portfolio. Like, when I present that, it's like, okay, boom, this is who you work with. And even it's crazy because even in the beginning, when I hadn't worked with a lot of people, still seeing like, okay, but this looks good though. I think I'm gonna give you a try. And so now I feel like my portfolio has just extended. So, and then my clients get results. Although I'm not, and like I said, guys, don't do what I do, but although I'm not proactively like pushing out content all the time, like, I'm always encouraging my clients to do that because I know it works. Like, anything with consistency, really, it's literally like a law of the universe. So, when you do that, you're gonna be able to do that. But like, for example, one of my clients right now, I guess I can say off the record, Miami-Dade County Public Schools. I'm working with them.
Nice. Let's go.
We talking money, people. Yes.
Okay. So I was contracted. So they're not my client directly, but I was contracted by a consulting firm. Yeah, that is their client, is their direct client. And so for the past few months, we've really just been working on all these campaign videos, a full, literally blown out campaign, photos, videos. I've been doing interviews with, let's see, what's it been? Mr. Red. So Mr. Red is this guy on social media.
The Cuban guy.
Yeah, the Cuban guy.
Mike knows him.
Yeah.
Listen.
I said Mike's gonna know him.
Yeah, he's funny on Instagram, but they tried to one time get me to go to one of his stand-ups. I'm like, you are not gonna get me a damn stand-up comedy show for this guy. I don't even know who he is.
But it's funny because when I was doing his interview, he said he has sold out after sold out after sold out after sold out shows.
Really?
So I said,
it's the culture too.
I think that's too. People, again,
he's
a tribe.
Yeah.
Tribe.
Yeah.
your community. After a while, people are like, yo, his consistency, he's trying to do this thing, so I'm gonna follow him.
Mm-hmm. He's funny. He's funny on Instagram. He is. But I think, I don't know, just for me, I think stand-up is a very difficult thing to do. Absolutely. And I don't think a lot of people that are on Instagram can do it. No fault to him, though.
No,
that's a fact.
For sure.
Because I went to a show.
Did an interview with him. I did one with this guy named Frank Neri. So, and again, all of these people, so basically what the basis of the campaign, they're highlighting, it's called Alumni 305. So they're highlighting like exceptional people who have done just amazing things that are graduates and alums of, Miami-Dade County Public Schools. And so, they found these hidden jewels in the woodworks, and literally, so this other guy, Frank Neri, he owns a restaurant group, but come to find out, I don't know if you ever heard of Soundbar. In Miami, but it's like a very popular like bar, like walk-in bar. It's like one room, but it's huge. Like they spin different vinyls, but it's popular. I don't even know, but he owns that, and he owns like 3 other restaurants in downtown within walking distance. So just to be able to tell these stories of different entrepreneurs, everyday people that are doing such amazing things. There's some other people that I might be interviewing that I can't say. It's a little disclosed. These are like big people, quote unquote. But just to be able to get that opportunity off of the strength of my portfolio. Like, hey, Jabria don't play around. Jabria is connected with photographers, videographers, but most importantly, she has the eye. She understands what it takes. Like, she understands marketing. She is the creative director. Like, truthfully, I produced this entire campaign. I have edited a few things because I've just kind of had to, but like to be in that producer's hat, like that's what I've been striving for my entire career, just to be here and kind of sit back a little bit and say, okay, you do this, you do that, but also just feeling like I've earned this point.
You did your work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
awesome. So damn girl, you making money. So what are some of the latest trends that you feel like that we should be hopping on? And how do you really make money off of social media? Because since we're in this content creator season, and everyone is a content creator, everyone is trying to be this thing on purpose in order to make money. Because millennials don't like to work for real.
Biggest thing is brand partnerships. If I want to talk about a trend, influencer marketing, aka getting those brand partnerships and stuff like that, that is to me the biggest trend right now.
So what has been your biggest failures and your biggest successes since you've been in the business?
Great question. So I would say my biggest failure, truthfully, of course, losing money because I did not price my offer correctly.
Ooh, I like that.